guys, it's Bella, and today I will be telling a story about the time I got stranded on a lake, got picked up by two random old men, and eventually got chased, and the police were involved, and I broke in somewhere, and all that stuff, so stay tuned for that. Also, tune in my last video to enter in a giveaway for an iPad Pro and a keyboard that comes with it, so just go check that video out and it will explain how to enter and stuff. So this all happened around 5 months ago. I was with my best friend Acacia, and we didn't have really any 4th of July plans, and we were supposed to hang out with these two other people, but they just wanted to do something different, and they were supposed to come to my lake cabin, which is this is actually where we ended up going. But they're like, we want these people to come, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't want them there. You know, I'm not trying to have a party, I'm just trying to have a little get together. So they're like, okay, well, we're just not gonna come, and I'm like, okay, just come if you want, and if you change your mind, you can always come over. So it ended up just being me and Acacia, and we went to my lake cabin, which is obviously on a lake. No one was there except my stepmom and her sister and her baby, so like, we didn't really have anything to do. They had little fireworks for the baby to watch, like pink ones. We were just kind of there, and we're like, there's nothing to do other than to swim. But across the lake there is a resort that puts on a fireworks show every year, and people actually come from all around the country to see it, and it's actually pretty cool. So we're like, let's go see that. Keep in mind that the resort is about 2 or 3, maybe even 4 miles away from where we were. Like, the lake is pretty big. It wraps around this, like, a few big hills, and like, so we didn't really know how to get there, and obviously I can't drive yet, so, you know, we're like, what are we gonna do? And little did we know at the time that it was so far away. So we're like, you know, we're just gonna kayak there and canoe there, like, no big deal. Acacia is actually a lot smaller than me, but she's really strong. I don't know how. So there was a tube connected to the kayak, and she's like, it's okay, I'll just pull you, just sit in the tube and I'll pull you, and we'll go see the fireworks. I don't know what time it was. It was definitely still bright outside, like it was maybe 4 or 5, and obviously in the summer the sun sets a lot later on. So we're like, okay, we have plenty of time. We'll go there, watch the fireworks, come back, no big deal. I got in the tube and we started kayaking, and we were like 15 minutes in, and you know, Casey was getting pretty tired, you know, and so I'm like, we'll switch. And we switched, and I did it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, Casey, I don't want to do this anymore. So we switched again. And keep in mind, I am so scared of the water. Like, I hate, not the water itself or swimming, but I'm scared of like the things in the lake. And I know it's obviously not an ocean, and the lake is pretty safe, like, obviously. But I'm very scared of like big open water. We were still pretty close to my cabin at the time, because like I said, it's a big lake, you know, we can go for a long time and still be pretty close. So we're like, maybe we should just go back, and you know, I'm pretty tired, and she's like, no, let's just keep going, we're fine. So we did. She pulled me on the kayak for about an hour and a half until we're like, I don't even know how she made it that far. Like, it's so crazy. Like, and we weren't even halfway. From my cabin, you cannot see the resort. So whenever we would pass a hill, we're like, oh, it's probably just right around this hill, and then we'd pass it, and it still wasn't there. And so we switched one more time, and I was pulling us, and I'm like, you know, I'd rather go back. You know, like, we have our own fireworks, we can just watch that. I am so tired, even though she literally did all the work. And it was starting to get dark, so we we're doing it for a while, like a couple hours. Like we don't have a light so that people on their boats going to see the show aren't gonna hit us. We don't have a phone. We don't have food. We're obviously surrounded by water, but that we can't drink. She kept pulling me. We kept going and kept going. And eventually, like, we're done. We can't go any further, you know. We don't know when we'll get there. You know, I know the area, but I know it from the other side. I don't know it from this side. We're in the middle of the lake, and boats are starting to come, and it is starting to get pretty dark. We wave people down, and no one is coming to help us. They literally will just wave back like they think that we're waving at them, but really we're trying to wave them down to come save us. Eventually, after like 10 minutes of waving us people down, someone comes and tries to like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And it was these two old men, like maybe older than 60 or 55. I know that's not that old, but I mean, it's pretty unsafe for two 14-year-old girls to go on a boat with two 60-year-olds, so strangers that we've never met. So we get on, we put our kayak on, we're like, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, we're stranded, we don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, okay, where do you want us to take you? And at first my initial reaction was just go take us back to the cabin. But after that, me and Casey were like, no, like we still want to go see the fireworks, you know, now that we're safe, like how about we just go to the fireworks so that we can see it, you know, the show's about to start. So we start going there, and then all of a sudden he stops, like his boat, and he goes, no, no, I'm not gonna drop you off if there's no adult waiting for you. And we're like, no, it's okay, I know the area really well, I've lived here all my life, like, just drop us off there. We were even like, you can just drop us off at the hill that's right next to it, we'll be able to see it from there, we can hide our kayak, hide our tube, and we'll be able to see the fireworks from there. He goes, no, or I'm not gonna do that, no. And the other guy was like, you know, it's fine, like, just let him off, it's no big deal. And he's like, no, I am not gonna let two young girls do that by themselves. I'm like, okay. I'm like, please just let us off, like, somewhere. I don't care where it is, like, just let us off. And he's like, no, you need to call someone. And I'm like, okay, I know my stepmom's number and I know my dad's number. My mom just got a new phone, I don't know her number. He's like, okay, call them. I'm like, okay, you know, that's fine, like, thank you for helping us and getting us out of the water, but you can drop us off now. So I call my stepmom, and she's like, oh my gosh, girls, you guys are crazy, like, I told you not to go that far. We're like, I didn't get the memo. Like, how about you guys just go to your dad's work? My dad works on the lake at a golf course, and he works there all night. He's a security guard. So, you know, we're like, yeah, that's a good idea, just drop us off there, it's right on the lake. And it's literally right there, like, just go drop us off there. He's like, no, you need to call your dad and make sure that's okay. I'm not gonna drop you off anywhere. So I call my dad, and he's like, I'm not working there tonight, I'm working at the resort, and I can't leave. I can't get you, like, just tell them to drop you off there. And he was like, you know, giving me a speech like, don't get in the boats with strangers. And I'm like, yes, Dad, I'm sorry, I know, I'm stupid. Yeah, my dad actually ends up calling my brother, and my brother stops his plans, and he's thinking that I'm getting killed and raped and kidnapped by these two old men. And so he freaks out and calls my mom, and my mom is freaking out, saying that I shouldn't do this, which obviously is the correct answer. No, I shouldn't be. She calls the old men from, my dad gives her the number of the old men because they called him off his phone or whatever. And she calls them, and she's like, you need to let my daughter off your boat right now. Drop him off at Sanders Beach, drop him off at the golf course, drop him off at the resort. I don't care, I want them off your boat. He's talking to your mom, he goes, no, you're a bad parent for doing this. And I'm like, that's my mother, do not talk to my mother like that. But obviously I'm staying quiet because, you know, I am in a stranger's boat. At this point, I was feeling very uncomfortable. And I was with Acacia, and Acacia is the nicest person that you'll ever meet. So she is the kind of person that was like, no, you know, they're doing this stuff for us, like, let's just be nice. And I'm the type of girl that's like, no, I don't care, they were being nice, but now I feel uncomfortable and I want to leave. My mom's like, you need to drop them off at the golf course right now, I don't care. So he's like, finally pulls over to the dock where the golf course is. Casey and I look at each other and we're like, okay, bye. And we take our kayaks and we take our tube and we start running. Like, this is a heavy kayak, so we're like carrying it together, and I'm like carrying the tube in my one hand, and we're like, okay, bye. And he goes, wait, I'm waiting for your mom to get here, I'm waiting. And at this time I'm thinking, the golf course is closed, she cannot come in. Now that we are in here, we have to leave. This is trespassing. Like, I'm not supposed to be on the golf course at night. That's illegal, because it's closed and you're not really supposed to get in through that way, obviously. We were quite a bit ahead. So there's these cabanas, and I put the kayak and the tube in the cabanas, and because obviously I can't carry them, but I gotta go. After that, Acacia was just standing, and I'm like, Acacia, we have to go, let's go. And she's like, no, they were helping us, like, it was very nice of them to do that. And I'm like, no, I want to go right now. So I literally start running. I start running around the trees so that he couldn't see me, and I was just jetting, and I hate running. But Acacia starts running after us, and I'm like, girl, we gotta go. And at this point, it is super dark. Like, there are barely any lights. Like, this is a huge golf course, not like, you know, little one. We're running through, and eventually we see that the guy's not following us anymore, and we're like hiding in trees and behind hills. We feel like super uncomfortable and unsafe. It's so hard to explain because obviously you guys don't know where I'm talking about, but to get in the golf course, there's just this giant fence, and you need the code to get in, and it will open, and then you'll go through the golf course. But we like slid under the golf course, like we went under the gate. Oh crap, my mom doesn't know where we are. My dad doesn't know where we are, you know, like no one knows where we are. I don't have a phone. And we're in our bathing suits because we were just in the kayak, and it's at night. There's like a highway right next to it, and then you go down further and there's a gas station. So we're walking on the highway to get to the gas station, and a police comes. She goes, are you the girls that were just on the boat with the guy? And we're like, yes. And we actually felt safe because, you know, there was a police, and it was a scary highway. She goes, yeah, we got a call from the guy. He called the police on you guys, thinking that you guys were running away. I'm like, yeah, we were running away from this guy. I felt uncomfortable. I've never gotten in trouble with the police before. I'm not scared of the police, but like, this was a scary situation because we did trespass, and we did, but like, I didn't have a choice. Like, I was trespassing, but I was also really scared. So she's like, you guys aren't in trouble, but what you guys did was really stupid. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Less than 5 minutes later, my mom pulls up in her orange Prius, and she goes, get in the car. And Casey are crying. We're like, oh my gosh. And I like literally try to give my mom a hug, and she like rejects my hug. So I start crying even more, and I walk to the Prius, and oh my gosh, like, it's funny now that I look back, but this was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm like, okay, Casey, I'm so sorry we got into this mess. You know, this is all my fault. We should have just went somewhere else for 4th of July. We didn't even get to see the fireworks. My mom gets in the car, and she starts yelling at me. And then my mom is like the sweetest person in the world. She never yells. So like, obviously she sees me crying, and she feels bad. She's like, it's okay, I'm sorry. And she gives me a hug, and she's like,
you know, it's okay, you were just, you know, you were scared in the middle of a lake. I don't blame you for getting like picked up, but this is really unsafe. Next time don't do this, obviously, all that stuff.
I ruined everybody's night. When I was just in a situation where I felt helpless. I'm obviously here alive today and not dead. This was the worst 4th of July of my life. Casey and I, we after we got home, she was gonna spend the night, but I walked her to her house. We were neighbors. So I walked to her house, and we explained the whole thing to her mom. And, you know, her mom was just like, oh my gosh, I'm glad you guys are safe. I look back, and I regret it. But yeah, you know, you can't change the past, and this is a good story to tell. Thank you for watching so much. My hair has dried over the time of this video. Sorry about the lighting. Let me show you the lighting and why it's so messed up. It is because it's snowing. quite bad. Yeah. Like, I don't know why it's doing this. I can't say I love it.